Hi, I'm Todd Palmer, clarinetist, coming to you from New York City. So please excuse the random sirens you may hear during this. It's in the upper 90s today. We're on to our first heat wave of the summer. I'm ready for it. Anyway, a shout out to all my friends in Newburyport. I was up at the festival a few years ago, and your fearless leader has asked me to choose one YouTube video of music that perhaps I would take onto my desert island if there were Wi-Fi. And so I have chosen the great production of South Pacific at Lincoln Center Theater, which ran from 2008 to 2010, 2.5 years. And I had the great honor of playing in the orchestra of that show. And it was the very first musical I've ever done. And I've done about half dozen since then. And I was classically trained on the clarinet when I was going to music festivals in my 20s. I never dreamt that I would ever play in a Broadway show. And I don't really think I had the desire to do that at that point in my life. But now I can almost not live without it. And I've learned so much from that world of musical theater, from the onset of South Pacific, which was, number one, a great show. And for those of you that may have seen it, and it was the first official revival of the show since the original production in 1947. We had a stellar cast of singers and actors. We had a 30-piece orchestra, which was unheard of for any Broadway show. And I was telling David Yang earlier that we had a number of glitterati come to almost every show, and it was a lot of fun to sit there in the orchestra pit, and we could view the entire audience because it was an open pit, and we could see this person or that person, and it was a lot of fun every night because we never knew who was going to be there. And so I wanted to tell you one really terrific moment from that show, which happens in the first 4 minutes, and it's during the overture. And like I said, the audience hears the amazing sounds of Bali High and Some Enchanted Evening, just looking at the stage. And all of a sudden, in the climax of the overture, the stage retracts and you can see the 30-piece orchestra dressed in tuxedo and black gowns, and the audience just went berserk. And it was an incredible moment for us as musicians, because normally in Broadway, you never see the musicians at all. In some new musicals, however, now musicians will be on stage somewhere here or there, but not a 30-piece orchestra. So this was, something that really, for us as musicians, never usually being seen in a Broadway pit, really gave us a great sense of purpose and what we were doing in that show. And you could wave to friends, actually. So that is my pick. And I just want to show you, this is the original poster from the show. You can see all of it. And it's done by an artist who's now in his 90s. His last name is McMullen, and he has done the artwork for every Lincoln Center Theater show for decades. And the most recent was Intimate Apparel by Ricky Eden Gordon, which unfortunately opened in February and closed the second week of March, as everything has done now. But so that's my first little bit of from the show and tell. And something else I found was a little gift we got on opening night. And here we have, what are these called? Beanie Babies in his little hula skirt. Because we're out in the tropics there in the South Pacific. And then one of the great characters from South Pacific is Bloody Mary. And she's sort of a merchant and sells trinkets. And one of her top sellers is a shrunken head. But she says schlunken head. So this was just one of the things that got thrown around in the pit during the show, and I decided to take this for sure as a memento. So that is my pick. And the thing is, Rodgers and Hammerstein, you cannot beat that writing team for musical theater in this country. And every song from that show is a winner. And you can't say that with other shows that have done well. They may have, you need to have at least 4 good songs to have a hit. But every song in South Pacific is well known, and you may not even realize that you know them all. So I certainly would ask you to all sort of check it out again and, have a vacation in the tropics from your living room.